everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alyssa Cotten and I provide emotional and mental support for coaches, counselors, content creators, and entrepreneurs. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the subtle signs that you might have unresolved trauma. So if that's something you want to learn more about, stay tuned till the end to hear my 5 tips to really identify if you are experiencing these subtle signs of unresolved trauma. Let's get started. Subtle signs that you might have unresolved trauma. It's so easy to identify, oh, I've got anxiety, or I'm so depressed I can't get out of bed. We tend to really focus on those more extremes when it comes to talking about or even acknowledging that we have unresolved trauma. And if you want to learn a little bit more about unresolved trauma and those different signs, definitely check out this video right here, which I released out a couple weeks ago. Before I get too deep in the video, I want to let you know that I also have some openings to my signature program, Inner Compass Accelerator, which is an accelerated program for you to help heal your unresolved trauma, your fears, and your anxieties. And if that's something you want to learn more about, definitely book a free call below to see how working with me can help you on your trauma healing journey. So let's get back to the video. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the 5 subtle signs that you might have unresolved trauma. As we dive into the very first subtle sign, again, subtle, it's like incognito. The very first one is inability to stay present. You might be the master of multitasking. You might be able to watch a TV show, work on emails, text your friends, be on Instagram, be on Pinterest, multitasking through all these different things. And that is a subtle sign that you have struggles with being present. Being present is so hard, especially if you have unresolved trauma, because your brain is constantly wanting to distract yourself, so that way there is no opportunity for you to tune in to those feelings. Because when we truly can pause in the moment and be present, that is when our body can really show us how we're feeling, how we're thinking, how we're being. And if we're constantly distracted or constantly not in the present moment, then our body doesn't get that opportunity to say, hey, look over here, we've got some unhealed wounds. You should probably look at that. So the first subtle sign that you have unresolved trauma is the inability to stay present. You might always be checking your phone. You might struggle to stay present in a conversation without checking your phone. That is a trauma response of distraction. So if that's something you're noticing that you're doing, is really struggling to stay present, that might be a sign that you have unresolved trauma. Second, subtle sign is difficulty making basic decisions. This could look like, what should we eat for dinner? You might be at a restaurant, and if it's not a restaurant that you typically go to, you might struggle to even identify, what do I want to pick? And then you pick something, and then you might regret that you picked it later. This can also look like sending work emails. Basic things that you do every single day in your work, you might struggle to really identify, what do I put in the email? You might overanalyze the email. Also, looking at, what do you want to wear today? If you struggle to figure out what you want to wear today, basic decisions such as food, what do I want to wear, sending emails for work, those different areas, that inability to make concrete decisions, to just say, yes, this is what I'm doing, or no, I'm not doing that. Those are subtle signs that you have unresolved trauma, which goes even deeper to that people pleasing, which is, again, a trauma response. Number 3 is overworking or people pleasing. So this is a very subtle sign. You might be the friend that always volunteers to help people out. You might be the coworker that's willing to take everyone's shifts on. You might be the family member that's always offering to host the gatherings or clean up or stay a little bit longer to help someone else. So this overworking, people pleasing is a subtle sign that you have unresolved trauma. You might just say, I'm just a really nice person. I'm just so kind. I just want to be helpful. Or I just want my boss to know that they really hired me and I can do the work that they asked me to do. But if you ask yourself, am I doing more than my job description? Or am I overextending myself when it comes to my friends and family because I want them to like me? People pleasing is a sign of trauma response. It's actually one of the 5 types of trauma response. And so if you notice that you're really people pleasing, you want people to really like you, that is definitely a sign that you have unresolved trauma. The 4th subtle sign that you have unresolved trauma is saying yes when in reality you want to say no. Saying yes all the time, whether that's to work commitments with your friends, with your family. Saying yes means saying no to yourself. And if you say no to yourself, then there's no opportunity to look inward. Again, it really slides into that distraction. And if I'm overworking or overcommitting myself, then there's very little time to check into those feelings or those experiences. So unhealed trauma tends to manifest in saying yes to everything, even if you really want to say no. So an easy way to help you kind of get out of that cycle is ask yourself, do I really want to do this? Am I saying yes out of obligation? Am I saying yes because I'm trying to be a people pleaser? In reality, do I really want to say no? Practice saying no. Practicing saying no is the best thing you can do, because every time you say no to someone else, you're actually saying yes to yourself, which then is going to affirm you are worth paying attention to. Again, when you say no to someone, you say yes to yourself, and you are giving yourself that self-love, compassion, and self-worth. When we pay attention to our needs, we are affirming that we are worth paying attention to. And you watching this video, you are worth paying attention to. Your needs matter. Say yes to your needs, and don't be afraid to say no to other people who might be asking things that you are not able to give. 5th subtle sign that you have unresolved trauma is seeking validation or asking for validation with your work. So this might say, for example, you're working on a project, or you're working on a piece of content, or you're working on a new sales page or a new report, whatever you're working on. Even though you believe you've done a great job, you will ask other people, how does it look? What do you think? What are your thoughts? Those are all signs of unresolved trauma. When you can heal your trauma, you know your work, you know your work ethic. And when you do a job well done, and I'm not talking about having someone proofread or having someone look over typos or grammar. I'm talking about where you're constantly seeking the validation, even after 3 or 4 people have already said, that's awesome, you did a great job, great work. If you're constantly seeking that validation, which is a form of self-soothing, it's a form of coping, that is a subtle sign that you might have unresolved trauma. For example, if you're a content creator and you make an Instagram post, you might ask several people, what do they think? And you know it's amazing, but you're just questioning, okay, what do other people think? And then everyone says, this is amazing, this is great. And that kind of doubt starts to creep in. That is a sign of unresolved, unhealed trauma. So let's recap those 5 signs that you have unresolved trauma. So let's recap to those 5 subtle, very subtle. If you don't fine tune and look at it, you might not even realize that it's there. So the first one is inability to be present, constantly multitasking or constantly distracting yourself from the present moment. Number 2 is difficulty making basic decisions, such as what I'm gonna order at a restaurant, what do I wanna wear today, all of those basic things. Those are signs, subtle signs that you have unresolved trauma. Number 3 is overworking or people pleasing, constantly overcommitting to tasks, overworking at your actual job, people pleasing, saying yes to friends and family, all of those subtle signs, which leads us right into number 4, saying yes to your friends and family and work when in reality you really want to say no. Maybe it's a Friday night and you really just want to stay at home, snuggle up on the couch, watch a good show, and someone says, hey, I'm having a really fun get together, I'd love you to be here, or I need you to work and cover my shift, I'm having this, that, whatever it might be, fill in the blank, and you really want to say no, but you say yes out of fear, which is again our trauma response, which shows that we have unhealed trauma, that you have unhealed trauma if you are overcommitting and constantly saying yes to things that you would really rather say no to. And number 5 is wanting validation or wanting things to be perfect, such as content creation, emails, projects, tasks you're working on. You're constantly seeking that validation of others to tell you you did a good job, even though you already know you did a good job, but you're seeking that validation of other people to tell you that you did a good job. Again, so those are the 5 subtle signs that you have unresolved trauma. And the best thing you can do is start to be aware of these subtle signs. So something easy that you can do is, now that you've watched this video, you might be asking yourself, okay, what's the next step? So the next step is to ask yourself, do I partake in any of these symptoms? Do I distract? Do I avoid the present? Am I a people pleaser? Do I struggle to make decisions? If you're answering yes to any of that, that might be a sign that you have unresolved trauma. And that is an amazing time for you to say, all right, I'm gonna get in the driver's seat of my healing and start doing that healing work. You can heal from trauma. That's something that I specialize in. And again, if that's something you wanna do, you wanna work with me directly, definitely book a call in the link below to see if working with me would be a good fit for you. Also, you can follow me on Instagram right here. I do lots of behind the scenes. I give lots of daily tips, Wellness Wednesday, and a lot of fun things that can help you stay on track with your mental health journey. Again, my name is Alyssa Cotten. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I release videos out every single Monday.